about 6,500 of those, or 13,000 of those, I can't remember. There's quite a few of them, 6,500 I believe, that don't have any water at all. Quite a few here in Kern County. The woods class is made up of a lot of people who have small wells. They have 2.5 acres, 5 acres, even 20 acres with a well on it. They're in the woods class. And it was pointed out to me today by Mr. Kafayan that there's another class that they haven't thought about, and that is the hybrid class. Many people in Rosamond, I don't know, Mr. McKee might be among them, own property, but next to it they own another piece of property that doesn't have a well on it. They'll put you in both classes if you're hybrid. Last month we talked about some of the problems that were coming up because of the nobody's addressing the Willis class. And I guess the idea is they want to settle the woods class August 3rd, stop the bleeding as far as attorney's fees goes, and that would be a smart thing to do because there are 140 different landowners out there that are settling along with the city entities, and for each landowner there's probably one attorney for every 4 or 5 of those. So it's right now it's the Attorney Employment Act of 2001, but it doesn't really do a lot of good for where the range of the resources go. But that being said, the Willis class is something that should be handled, and I think that's something that Kern County could do. And we are the eyes and ears of the 2nd District Supervisor here in Kern County. And I drafted up a letter for our committee, which was included Mr. Parkman and Mr. Wright, to maybe get together and get a letter to the county that tells them what we want to do. And if you guys want to help out planning, because as Dennis Shoffner pointed out to me, it's not really about the water shortage here in the Antelope Valley. We aren't suffering from a lack of water in the Antelope Valley, but we are suffering from the governor taking the stand that he is, we're in emergency and he gets to exercise emergency powers, and he is the unchecked ruler, if you will. A couple of good things have happened recently. For those of you who don't know, Al Wallace pointed out at the RCSC meeting last night that Lake Mead is full, which I guess would mean the Colorado River was running to overflowing, and I guess all the storms they had in Texas made their ways up to the Rockies and dumped a lot of snow and stuff, and it melted, and it's coming down, and that Lake Mead's full, and what's the other one, Lake Powell, all doing very well, a lot of water there, which means most of that water belongs to City of Los Angeles. Again, where's the emergency? It isn't there anymore, at least on that end of it. But to get to the point of this, our problem is subsidence. Our danger is subsidence in the Antelope Valley, and that's what Dennis pointed out when you recall we had the people here talking from Edwards Air Force Base. What was it called?
Restoration Advisory Board.
Yeah, Restoration Advisory Board. They have all these wells out there that are checking things, and Dennis was saying, what about the water table? What about this being one big lake? And they told him, no, it's not one big lake. That you have to worry about is subsidence, and then you got to fill back in. And once, Dennis, you want to tell them what they told you about why subsidence is such a danger?
As you know, the substrata in the earth holds water. When they were looking to site wells, when they first put the railroad through, the base archaeologist told me that when they would punch through the caliche, the hard pan layer, they would get wells, artesian wells, with about 15 feet of bed pressure. That's pretty phenomenal. So it was supercharged at the time. Over the years, with water-intensive agriculture primarily, the water table's been dropping. This is no secret to anybody. The result of that is that as the water subsides, it opens up declivities or hollow spaces, and eventually these work their way to the surface. When the land subsides, when it collapses in, it's not like a sponge and will grow back. You lose that water holding capacity forever. That's what they say. So the danger of land subsidence is the inability of the land to hold the water. That's why the water banking is so important, and I applaud RCSD for that effort.
So I guess that's something we need to take to Sacramento and let them know that number one, anchor, I know that our issue is not a drought, but it's a long-term reversal of the potential for subsidence. And that is, we want to start bringing the water levels up. In fact, if you knew what happened in 1975 in the Antelope Valley, I guess by 1968, they formed the Antelope Valley East Current Water Agency. Randy's very familiar with that. But I know that as a freshman in college, I interviewed Wallace Spinarski, the manager over at AVEC, and I know the farmers around. I know why they put that together. They wanted to start seeing the water tables come up because in the 50s and 60s, they just farmed alfalfa like crazy. The water tables kept dropping. And they brought water to the west side. They didn't bring it to the east side. It was very apparent that the water tables in the west side started to rise, or at least maintain. The east side kept dropping from 200 to 300 to 400 feet. The east side has some wells that go down 1,500 feet. On the other hand, the east side has a better recharge area when the Rock Creek overflows. Then when we had the last wet years in 1996, all of a sudden, boom, water tables came right back up. We don't necessarily have that kind of recharge on the west side, but that's where we have the great water banks. But the bottom line, it is subsiding, so we need to let the governor know that. And what I'm asking for in this letter is to maybe get Kern County Planning involved, because legally, let me back up. The bigger picture again, we want to stop subsidence. What do you do? You're all familiar with, if you drive across somebody's land for 5 years to get back and forth to your property, you've got a prescriptive easement. What you may not know is you've been driving across Edwards Air Force Base dirt road for many, many years, for 5 years. You don't get a prescriptive easement because you can't get one against the government. And the law in real estate is everything has to be reciprocal. Well, since you can't get that from the government can't drive over your land for 5 years and get a prescriptive easement for you. And when it comes to water, it's the same thing. But all the government entities have sued in the lawsuit saying, hey, we have established a prescriptive right by taking too much water. I don't think you want to admit that. I don't think Rosa Community Service District, for example, has overdrafted. But certainly Palmdale and Lancaster, who are represented by LA County District 40 and LA County District 20, how much they've grown over the years, they probably have overdrafted. But the point is, they can't get a prescriptive easement, which means, under the Fifth Amendment, they've been taking water from people like the raw landowners in the Willis class. And they haven't offered anything to pay for that yet, that I can tell. On the other hand, the Woods class folks haven't really been, as well as the farmers. If a farmer says, yeah, I'm using enough water to cover 6 parcels, 6 tracts of 160 acres, well, he can get a prescriptive right from other property owners that remain vacant, because like if you're driving over your neighbor's land for 5 years, you establish a prescriptive easement. Same thing for the farmer who uses the water all those years. So he does have a better right to that property, and he can say to the Willis class people, hey, you didn't use your rights, and I've been using the water. But the law also says that if you haven't been using the water, you can always sink a well and start establishing your own use, just like your neighbor saying, well, you know what, I'm going to start using that road too, or I'm going to maybe do something else going over your property. You may not like that, but you have to be willing to work together, at least in the water law you do. One of the things we need to do is look at really long-term planning. And one of those things is, you know, I think I explained last meeting how the downstream users develop first, the guys on the coast, LA, the guy in St. Louis, Missouri developed first, people, the farmers work their way out. When you get to Colorado till later on, they're the ones that got the water first. First in time is first in right. There's 2 major aqueducts that run from the 1913 aqueduct, the 1954 aqueduct, run down right here through the Antelope Valley, through the Indian Wells Valley, and LA owns that water. They don't need a desalination plant. We can't afford to put one up here because we have no ocean. If we put one down there long term, then we should be able to trade for the water up there based on whatever the value of the water is, the quality, that type of thing, with them in the long term. We should also figure out a way to set up a big coalition between Indian Wells Valley government and private property owners, Antelope Valley government and property owners, and said, okay, we're going to save up money to do that. Part of the money is going to go to the desal plant. The other thing we're going to do is set up something that says in the wet years, where we have a lot of rain, water's cheap, we want to pick up that water coming down the California aqueduct that runs along the base of the Palmdale Hills there. And we want to take that water and we want to put it into a water bank. And we'll buy it at $150 an acre foot. Right now it's going for maybe $400 an acre foot, but this isn't a dry year. But get the cheap wet year stuff when it comes up, bank the water, and have it there for when we need it later on, and make sure we're not, stop the subsidence, bring it up. You say, where will you get the money? And that's where I want to see something from the Kern County Planning Department, if you could, get something that says, if on the average, a person with a raw land actually pokes a hole in the ground once every 10 years, in other words, it takes 10 years before they get around to actually developing their property, moving on the property, or using the property, then if they invested an acre foot, that is $15 a year, they'd own an acre foot of groundwater by the time they've got 10 years. I don't know if that's a logical number, but that's a place to start. In other words, I would say a 2.5 acre parcel would pay a tax, $15 per parcel per year. And that money would go into purchasing water for the water bank and a small portion toward getting the desal plant going. And if you had a 5 acre parcel, maybe it would be 25. If you had a 10 acre parcel, maybe $40 per parcel. And maybe cut it off at that. But there'd be a small tax that they have to pay to the water that would be going into the ground. That's just a crazy idea I have. I'm not a planner. I know some people who they're brilliant over there in Kern County Planning Department. They can maybe take that plan and expand on it or cut it up in pieces and figure out what might work and what might not. But I think we need to ask the county to get involved, because nobody is protecting the landowners in Kern County that have vacant properties that don't have a well. And that's kind of what I'm trying to accomplish with this letter. I did a draft, which I haven't worked on since I think May 25th. But I'm getting some feedback from Mr. Parker, hopefully from Mr. Wright later on. And Dennis would like to see us be able to act on it by next meeting. So, any questions?
The street project was a $1.8 million project. That should be done by the end of this month. I'm not sure if you guys have all got a chance to see it or not yet. It's looking real good. People are already parking diagonally there. I drove down. Terry was talking about it too. The only setback right now is SCE. We haven't been able to get the lights in yet, but hopefully that will be done pretty soon as well. So pretty promising. We have a list of chip seal projects where they go through and improve a road that has a lot of problems in it. These are all ones that will be completed this fiscal year in Rosamond. Rosamond Boulevard from 40th Street West to 90th Street West. 90th Street West from Rosamond Boulevard to Avenue A. Avenue A from 100th Street West to Sierra Highway. 100th Street West from Avenue A to Rosamond Boulevard. That's 170th Street. Sierra Highway from Avenue A to Rosamond Boulevard. Tehachapi Willow Springs Road from Rosamond Boulevard to Champaign Avenue. And 100th Street West from Avenue A to Rosamond Boulevard. There's also Kern Regional Transit has a bunch of new buses they just got. 3 of them will be allocated to Cal City, Mojave, and Rosamond areas to help with the congestion of the buses. Yeah, 3 for this area. They're 40-foot buses, 55 passenger, brand new nice buses, painted blue. Should be really great, help with the congestion. And also, I believe today, a new street light was supposed to go in at Rosamond Boulevard and Tropico, Rosamond Boulevard.
There was somebody out there working.
New street light going in at that crosswalk there.
A traffic signal or a light?
Street light.
Just the light, the lights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
And,
we better look at the intersection.
64 arrests, 15 of those offenses were assaults, 13 drug offenses, 9 theft, 2 stolen vehicles, and we had a bunch of vandals. I'm sure most of you guys are aware of that. We did arrest someone for A lot of that vandalism is still being worked out with the DA as far as prosecution. We're also have a couple other suspects that we're still working on. Some other things that the Kern County Sheriff's Department did in May is our crime prevention unit came out to both Rosamond Elementary School and West Park Elementary School, put on a couple of anti-bullying programs and stranger danger programs.
Stranger danger? All right.
And I want to add something a little bit different tonight because a question came up yesterday to clarify what the California Highway Patrol does. Just to clarify, what we do is we handle all traffic incidents throughout the entire state. Okay, so anything that's a roadway and a vehicle, we handle that. The Sheriff's Department and Police Departments handle the crimes that occur in the cities or in the counties where that happens. So that kind of makes sense. And then we also provide law enforcement support for the allied agencies when they have incidents, when they're busy, we actually respond and help them with other crimes in progress. But that's their primary responsibility. Traffic is our primary responsibility. Mojave, California Highway Patrol, we have 29 officers assigned to it, and we support the communities of Rosamond, Mojave, Boron, North Edwards, Tehachapi, outlying areas of California City, including we cover Ridgecrest, Randsburg, and Trona. So we kind of have a big area that we cover for our response. The one thing I do get to say is I like Rosamond because Rosamond's not really a problem for us, which is good. So some stats, what we've done here in the town of Rosamond. In the month of May, we had 362 calls to our dispatch center for some sort of call or service in Rosamond. We had 15 DUI arrests. We responded to 6 abandoned vehicles, 7 traffic hazards, 5 loose animals. One of them noted there was actually 8 ducks crossing Rosamond Boulevard. 3 disabled vehicles. We handled 9 traffic collisions in May and 1 hit and run, and 26 calls for reckless drivers. And fortunately, we had no fatalities, no major incidents in this town.
I got a question for you.
We just had our meeting last night, and I'd like to update you guys on some things that are going on. The Rosamond Community Watch Program has established our first board of directors with Paul Warnick as our president and chairman, Gail Warnick as our secretary-treasurer, and then our other directors as Helena Hatcher, Heather Checkley, Albert Gatton, and Jack Miller. Our next meeting is going to be July 15th here at the Hummel Hall, and that will be a Coffee with the Cop meeting, so please come on down, have some coffee and refreshments, and meet and talk with our law enforcement officers.
What time will it be?
It's 6 o'clock. And then we do have 2 cleanup projects coming up. Our next one's actually going to be on Saturday, June 20th at Jack in the Box over here off of Rosamond Boulevard. We'll be cleaning up that field again for the 2nd time. And then the one after that is going to be July 18th. We're going to be doing a kids cleanup at United Park. We've had a lot of requests to try and get the kids involved with our efforts in helping to clean. So we're going to be doing that over at United Park, seeing how it's all fenced in, try and get the kids involved, as well as the adults will be working on United Street to help clean up the field over there on United Street. We do have a Volunteer Appreciation Day coming up as well on August 15th, and we are looking for sponsors for that event. And we've taken on a graffiti abatement project, which I'll let Gail speak to.
We are approved by the county. We are not working against RCSD. We are working alongside them. There are certain things that RCSD cannot do. Businesses, wooden fences, residential. Plus, you guys aren't available 24/7 and on weekends. We are. If there's an issue that comes up, vulgarities are posted, we can go out and immediately cover it, and then RCSD can come in behind us, and if it needs to be taken care of, they will do so. County has delivered supplies of paint, brushes, rollers, things such as that to us. We did have a paint sprayer donated to us last week. We're still looking for a generator so we can make the paint sprayer work. But someone started a youth caring fundraiser account online to help out and keep the program going. We've had several people offer to donate paint. We thank you for that, but please don't drop it off in my backyard when I'm not there. And we're not a disposal for empty paint cans, which we had that happen. About a week ago, someone just decided to dump about 10 5-gallon paints behind our house, and the majority of them were empty. But we do have our cards now. We are county approved, and we have been taking photos, sending them over to RCSD if it is something that they can't do, or if they don't have manpower to do it right away. They are referring it back to us. So we are working, we're connected, but we have to have everyone sign the county permission forms, such as the chamber has been involved in that in the past as well. So there's lots of people here in Rosamond trying to take care of the graffiti. We just want to make it known that we're here to help.
Coming up is Septemberfest. It'll be the 26th. It's the parade, starts at 10 o'clock, and at 11 in the morning is when Septemberfest starts. We do have booths available in parade entries at the chamber if you're interested. So just contact the chamber or contact myself and we'll get you the applications. Thank you.
Hang on.
I think it's June 27th. We're going to be hosting a free clinic for our youth ages 5 to 15. That includes our football players and our cheer. Also coming up this year, we're also going to be having a fireworks booth over here behind Wayside Cafe. We're going to be selling a pre-sale script with that, and anybody that buys that pre-sale script to help us out will be entered into a drawing upon opening the doors July 1st. I think we open up at noon. We'll get a free $100 package of fireworks. Also, the exciting thing is July 27th. We're looking forward to. That's our opening day for practice. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to thank our volunteers for coming out tonight with us and support. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you guys. We had a change of command today. There are two generals on the base. One general runs the base. That's
One about some sites out there.
One general is the commander of the 412 Test Wing. That would be Brigadier General Carl Schaefer. He's new, but that wasn't the change today. Edwards is a part of Materiel Command. The way the Air Force is organized is that there's the Pentagon that is in charge of the whole Air Force, then there are major commands by function. There's the one we're in is Materiel Command, there's Air Mobility Command, Logistics Command, there's a number of them. So the point is, the 4-star general that runs that command was here today, and I think we'll be staying that will be having the commander's call tomorrow. That's General Polakowski. She just got her 4 stars. She was down at Los Angeles Air Force Base before, and she officiated, I guess is the right word, the change of command for the test center. The Air Force Test Center headquarters is here. We oversee all test centers at the now 6 test enterprises across the Air Force, activities at a number of bases. The first general in charge of that activity was General Bunch, and yes, the job he's going to is the one that General Polakowski just came from. So, and I guess there's some...
Arnold Bunch or?
Arnie Bunch, yeah. So he's getting a 3rd star and moving up. So that happened today. Other than that, if you want any news about Edwards, it's available to you if you have a computer and access to the internet at www.edwards.af.mil.
Or you can phone us yourself.
Yeah, I could really help you if my computer would work. This was not a good day for computers.
What does that mean? That means we have to have a final budget approved by August, but I guess according to law we have to have one approved before June 30th. That's what we did. We asked, well, if we want to review that, how do we do that? We came up with a framework the accountant suggested based on what the meetings they had in April. And I can't remember how he's going to work it, but it's going to be 3 separate budget workshops before we come to finally approving the budget in August. You're all welcome to participate in that. And of course, the next meeting we have is next Wednesday night at 6 p.m. is for closed session, 7 p.m. for open session. And I'm not exactly sure what's going to be on the agenda because we don't release that until, I think, tonight or tomorrow. I didn't see it anyway. And that'll be ready for Wednesday night. And we appreciate you all coming there and providing your input.
Okay.
There is an event coming up in Palmdale that the Rosamond youth are invited to. Todd Davis, who is with the Denver Broncos, he's going to be holding a football camp in Palmdale on July 11th from 9 to 4. From 9 to 12 it will be youth, which is 1st through 8th grade. From 1 to 4 it will be high school. The cost is $75. Spaces are limited. You can sign up online. And his mother is actually looking for Rosamond kids that are interested in going to try to get sponsorship for them.
And he was a featured speaker at the Sheriff's Appreciation
Yes, he
Dinner.
was. He's a
Here in
very
Rosamond.
great.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Hosted by the Kern County Planning and Community Development Department. And that's where they wanted to amend the land use, open space, and conservation element of the circulation element of the Kern County General Plan to facilitate the use of smart growth policies by allowing the flexibility to assess traffic impacts through other means than level of service when a development is proposed, which encourages pedestrian movement and utilizes transit, and is proposed as part of a community plan or specific plan within Kern County jurisdiction. On May 14, 2015, by a vote of 5 yes to 0 no, the Planning Commission recommended the Board of Supervisors approve the general plan amended as requested. And its applicability is to the entire county. And the fundamental problem I have with this when I read it was the fact that it does apply to the whole county, and there isn't any differentiation basically made between the communities of Bakersfield versus Rosamond. Rosamond is still a rural community, still a town, it's not a city. We've had development come in and people have approved the paving of half a street for a mile for a development, and it's left that way for 15 or 20 years. And I don't know if this fixes that kind of problem or not, but it sounds to me like the county government wants to take that responsibility upon themselves. But I'm not certain that they will be acting in the interest of the smaller communities. I mean, yeah, everyone would like to have bike paths, and I think that's really about the only thing here in Rosamond that I think that the county government can do for us as far as transit kind of things. So my thought is that this is not something that we should be supporting here in Rosamond.
Plan Kern County style. We don't need to have that applied out here. I think that does disservice to property owners throughout. We want to develop properties further out of town. That being said, as a practical matter, a lot of our property, if you look at the other thing that's on that you gave us, is being swallowed up by non-residential use, and that you're never going to see. They're closing a bunch of section lines there for the Valentine Solar Project by EDF Renewables, Inc. title. And that only makes sense. They don't need to have people driving right through the middle of their project. But as a practical matter, that fits right in with the county plan of having more people move closer to town. But, and I don't think that should be dictated by the county. That's just happening naturally for whatever reason. On the other hand, you also mentioned the only thing the county can help us out with is bike paths. And what you're not aware of, and I think you heard the CHP allude to it earlier, is that we don't have any problems with traffic in Roseman. There's a huge reason for that. Not only is it a great job that the Kern County traffic people do on it, with the construction and everything, the roads department, but back in 1992, Supervisor Van Austin came up with an idea. He said, if we're going to develop all these houses in Roseman, we need to have everybody chip in $1,000 as the house is built for the Roseman Boulevard project. And over the years, Roseman Boulevard has been able to expand. It was the only street in the East County that expanded. Whereas if you've ever been to Tehachapi, you know that it took forever to get Red Apple Road in. And otherwise, I think we still only have 2 lanes going on Tehachapi Boulevard between 202 and the main part of Tehachapi. And that should have been expanded to 4 lanes a long time ago, but they didn't have that kind of thing in place. But we've been fortunate that way. We don't have the accidents that because of the planning that went on with that. And that's something that can continue, is to make sure that we move further ahead, both to expand.
Yes, you have that as an example of something they've done. But look at Feldside Avenue. Feldside Avenue was basically a patchwork, a quilt of asphalt, gravel, potholes, you name it, from the 14 access road all the way out to beyond 35th Street West. And it wasn't until a few things happened that they did pay Feldside finally. But you still have places like down on Holiday Avenue. You have a road up Dawn Road, which needs to be addressed at some point in time. It can't continue to be a dirt road that's more like a canyon.
I think that's been a consensus of this board forever, Brian, in case if you ever forget. Between Sierra Highway and Freeway, that little stretch would be nice if we got that big.
Okay.